spooky friends, and welcome to another episode of Storytime with the Scariest Podcast.
Woo!
I'm Grace Diaz, and today we're here with more homegrown horrors.
Indeed we are.
I was going to say more story times. I mean, it is another story time.
That would have been correct also.
Hello.
Solid opening to the show. This is the part where I describe to you what a homegrown horror is. It is a story that has been sent in by our wonderful listeners and or viewers that is supernatural, spiritual, coincidental, sometimes true crime, sometimes extraterrestrial in nature. If you have a story like that and you're thinking, man, I want to send it their way and maybe have them read it on the show, Robin, where can they send it?
You can send it to storytime@scariest.com. That is our email. We also have a website at scariest.com. We haven't updated it in forever, but we will. We'll get there. It's just two of us.
Contact form still works. That's what matters.
Yep. You can go to the contact us page. There's a form you fill out and it'll send your email to us that way. And whatever.
Any of the social medias.
Work.
Whatever
things.
you prefer. We have an Insta, we have a Twitter, we have a Facebook. So however you'd like to get it to us, we would love to hear it. I gotta say, there's not many times where we start doing a show where we're like, man, I can't wait for this shit to be over. But tonight, I'm very excited because once we're done with the show, we're probably going to watch maybe some Ted Lasso, but definitely some Squid Game.
Oh, yeah.
We just finished watching the first episode. Keep the spoilers out of chat.
We're going to get some squidding.
We want to see what else is going to happen, but it seems pretty interesting. I'm pretty psyched for it. I saw someone post on our Spooky Friends group on Facebook, like, has anyone else watched Squid Game? Because I need to talk about it. And so many people were like, no. And then someone was like, is it kid appropriate? And the original post was like, dear God, no. And they're like, oh, okay, all right then. So I'm like, all right, well, let's watch it so we can see what this hullabaloo is about and then talk to that person. And we watched the first episode. We're like, holy shit. So yeah, pretty excited for that.
Oof.
That said, I am also excited for the 4 stories we're going to be reading tonight from our wonderful spooky friends. Robin, would you like to go first or would you like me to go first?
Let's see. I'll go first.
Okay, sounds good.
Let's change it up. I don't know if I usually go first.
I think you have in the last couple episodes.
Cool.
That's fine.
Cool. No doubt. So this first email here is from Juan, and the subject is sleep paralysis in my hotel room. Nice.
Cool.
All right. So hello again. It
Hello.
is me, Chiboy Juan.
Hello, Chiboy Juan.
Hello. Coming back with a truly terrifying experience. At least it was for me. I was writing this immediately after this occurred. A little backstory. I was sent on a business trip to Florida and have been put up in a hotel while I'm here. I am originally from Texas. Nice. I'm working at a store here as a manager to help out and get things done for a store here because they are severely understaffed. Seems like that's going around in the world.
It is indeed.
I had been here for a couple nights with no incident until now. I'm winding down and getting ready to get some sleep, so I turn off the TV, lay down, and close my eyes. Maybe only 20 minutes had gone by when suddenly I noticed I was awake. I'm looking around in the darkness when suddenly I see lights coming on in my hotel room. First, I see the main light in the front of the room come on, which is just beyond the bed, and then it turns off. Suddenly, I see lights flickering in the window, but my curtains are closed.
Suddenly, I hear Lights by Ellie Goulding. Lights.
It's a solid song.
Lights.
These are heavy blackout curtains, so there's no way I could see outside. I see all these lights flickering and my mind starts racing and I assume someone's gotten into my room. I try to get up and check things out, then suddenly I realize I can't move at all.
That is the 5th suddenly. There's a lot of sudden things happening right now.
I mean, things always happen suddenly. There's got to be a Beatles song or something out there.
Suddenly.
That's what I was thinking in my head. So I'm paralyzed with the feeling of dread washing over me because I can't move. Sure, my mind may have just been playing tricks on me, but what if it wasn't and someone had really gotten into my room? Just as these thoughts were passing through my head, I look to my right where the restroom is and I see the light come on in there. Just then, my fear became even more crippling and I feel as if I'm in danger, so I desperately try to move. I manage to get some of the blanket off of me and proceed to try and get up to no avail. I just see lights flickering all around me as I lay motionless, yet frantically trying to move. I manage to get more of the blanket off of me and finally gain mobility. But when I can finally sit up and move, I look around and there I am again in complete darkness. Well, that's my story about my sleep paralysis in my hotel. Luckily, I took a good nap when I got back from work today, so losing this time to sleep won't be much of a bother. Thanks for reading. Much love from Chaboy.
It's terrifying.
I have had that dream, though, that exact scenario where I'm like in bed, can't move. I mean, it didn't happen to me in real life because we weren't in a hotel room or anything at the time, I don't think. Or I would have run out of that fucking hotel room. But
real life is only in hotel rooms?
No. I mean, like, I had a dream that we were in a hotel room.
Oh, I gotcha.
And somebody came in and I couldn't move. It was just, and then the creature came around the corner. You know how hotel rooms have the hallway, you walk in, there's a bathroom usually on the one side of it, and then you walk in and then it's the main room with the bed. So we're laying in bed, I'm looking at the ceiling, and then I can't move. And then I look down and something is coming around that corner into the room and I can't move. And it gets closer, and it's just this dark, horrifying figure, and it gets closer and closer, and it's getting closer to... Oh my god, that is one of the worst nightmares I've ever had. So having a sleep paralysis where you're by yourself in a different state, far away from home...
I understand that,
I would lose my shit.
The stress from it. I've not had a sleep paralysis incident, knock on wood, far away from home. They're almost always in my bed, except for maybe one instance I can remember from being a kid, spending the night at my uncle's house. But I've had the incidents where I had like the worst nightmare of my life and woken up covered in sweat. And I was in Canada and I was in the top bunk, and it's like, there's no light. It's the middle of fucking nowhere. We have been flown an hour into the middle of nowhere and landed on a lake in a pontoon boat at some cabins.
Hot.
So it was just terrifying. And I was just like laying there in bed, like, where the fuck am I, for like the first minute or so. So I imagine it's that same feeling. The thing that sucks about sleep paralysis when you're trying to gain purchase of your body is that you feel like Leonardo DiCaprio in The Wolf of Wall Street, where he's like, get the loot. Where you just can't use so much of your body. And it's, for me, I'm basically completely paralyzed except for maybe like a couple of fingers. And I usually have like a part of my leg I can move. And I'm convinced in my head that if I go back to sleep while being sleep paralyzed, I will die. And I hate that.
Okay.
So I will say, speaking of dreams, lately I've had dreams constantly about natural disasters that I'm in the middle of, the end of the world, and being dead and being in hell. And not supposed to be there, but I'm like trying to get out. And I'm not sure why I'm there, which I'm pretty sure is what my hell would actually be.
You're having like the complete opposite
I'm
dreams
having some
of me.
super fucked up dreams lately.
Like,
but...
I think a couple nights ago, one of my dreams was a bad dream I had was I cut my fingernail, right? I was trimming my fingernail.
No.
And I trimmed it. Like, normally I have a coffin shape to my fingernails. I trimmed it too much in, so it was at too sharp of an angle. I was just like, no.
I can't believe I wasted all of your time with my dreams of being dead and in hell when we could have been listening to the nightmares of Robin's skull about trimming her nails slightly off coffin shape.
That's so funny that you're having these horrible nightmares, and I'm just like, my nightmare is when I'm awake and I have to do all the school shit, okay?
I really thought you were going to say my nightmare is when I'm awake and I'm with you.
That
like,
too.
Well, fuck you too.
Thanks for the tip. Okay.
Anyways.
Thank you so much, Juan, for sharing your sleep paralysis tale. I'm sure there are a lot of you folks out there that can probably relate and have had this same experience where you can just see these lights and you can't control it, and then you see something in the room, or like a light turn on in a room and there's no one there.
And
you know?
Ellie Goulding starts playing. Indeed.
God,
either way, thank you so much for sending that in. All right, I'm going to go ahead and move into my first email of the show, and this one is called Two Truths and a Lie. Interesting fact, when we were developing the idea for Storytime, and we were thinking, hey, let's have a second show, that was a pretty easy thing for us to do, because we were like, oh, we're getting all these emails, we might as well just dedicate a show to reading the emails for folks.
Right. Before
that happened, and we're thinking about extra content we could do, I had pitched a segment to Robin called Two Truths and a Lie, where I would give, or I think it was Two Lies and a Truth, actually, where I would give 3 stories, and then we would let folks pick which one they thought was real by interacting with us, and we decided, let's just tell people real stories. So it's something that I saw this, and I was like, interesting. I'm excited to read this. So obviously there's going to be 3 stories here. Yep. 2 of them are true. 1 of them is a lie. I hope they tell us which is which. The email starts out like this.
Before you start, can I have your chapstick?
Holy fucking shit, dog. You're delaying me by 6 seconds, and I'm being a baby about it. How dare you?
Why are you watching me?
I'm judging your technique. Yeah, lower lip. Good stuff. Ooh, rounding out the top. I like it.
Stop!
Smack them together. Do it. Smack them. Yeah! Okay, cool.
Oh, there's lipstick on it now.
God damn
Sorry.
it. I'm going to wind up using it and putting lipstick on my lips.
Those luscious lips.
Thanks. You called them bird lips like a month ago.
Yeah, they are bird lips.
They're not bird lips. All right,
Your
here we
upper
go.
lip is a bird lip.
No, it's really not. But thanks anyways.
You have a nice thick
Why don't
lower
you
lip.
just shut the fuck up for a second. I'm trying to read an email from someone who was nice enough to write us. They didn't want to do that so that you could just sit here and insult me the whole goddamn time.
I mean, if you want me to assault you, I can.
Insult.
Oh.
Open your fucking ears. All right, we're going to go ahead and get into this. I hope you get this and I have the right email. It's a good sign that we did, that I'm reading that. But hello, Robin and Adam.
Hello.
Hello. Thanks for reading this, and you are free to use this on your podcast if you want. I know you said no bullcrap, but I figured it might be okay as long as I tell you first. I'm including 3 short stories, 2 are real stories, and 1 is bullcrap. It's a story I wrote, hence the 2 truths and a lie format. Have fun, smiley face.
All right.
So this story is 2/3 story time, 1/3 pasta time. The first story goes like this.
It's a good mix.
Yeah. A young girl was fast asleep and heard her cat caterwauling as if in pain or immense fear. Her sister screamed, the sound ringing into the dark. Then silence.
No.
When she asked if her siblings were all right, no one answered.
This is the fake one.
She slowly crept out of bed and down the long hall, dread enveloping her like the jaws of a beast. I like how they're all going to be written like their stories, though.
Oh, okay.
She couldn't help but wonder if she'd find her cat in a pool of blood dripping onto her siblings' floor. Then there were her sister's disturbing silence to add to her fears. Right before her shaking feet touched the short, stiff carpet of her siblings' room, a light flicked on in the hallway. Her parents had come running to see if her sisters were okay after hearing their screams. Within seconds, the light of the girl's bedroom was slapped on, but everything was fine. A poofed, skittish-looking cat stood in the middle of the floor. Her 2 sisters were staring at the feline without a word. Though the parents tried to brush off the noise as a cat seeing a raccoon or neighboring animal outside, they never quite found out what made their cat so scared. He'd never made such a sound before, nor did he ever make it sense.
That one's true.
Okay, that's the end of the first one.
That's going to be my guess.
What's
my
your goat?
ghost.
That's the greatest of all time right there.
No.
Number 2. A young girl named Mary used to carry... Oh my God, it rhymes. Oh my God, I hope this is a poem. I'm so excited. A young girl named Mary used to carry a stuffed lamb with her. She loved it, played with it, and took it to many places she went. One day, the girl left it outside when her parents called her to dinner. The rhyming scheme is gone. She ran inside and forgot her toy until after she went to bed. The next morning, her parents couldn't find her. After searching for the girl and calling relatives, they got the police involved. But all they could find was footage from the front door security camera of Mary leaving the house. After gathering stories of neighbors and family, police decided the girl most likely went out to fetch her toy. She left outside and wandered off. Or even worse, ran into a hostile individual. She was never found.
That one's real.
In memory of the event, a haunting lullaby was created in her hometown called Mary Had a Little Lamb, though most people leaving out the chilling final verse when singing, Mary had a little lamb, little lamb, little lamb, stop looking for your little lamb or we'll look for you instead.
No, I take it back. That's a lie.
That's the fake one. I'm guessing that's the fake one because it's weird that you would just have something happen so recently that there was door cam footage, you know? Mm-hmm. And then you decided you're going to adjust Mary Had a Little Lamb and turn that into a Freddy Krueger 1-2 Freddy's coming for you type of thing where you're just adjusting a lullaby to scare someone.
There's no scary song as good as the Freddy Krueger one.
Well, it's sang by little girls. Of course, it's terrifying, especially since he's a child murderer.
I mean, the one in Buffy is scary too. The one about the gentleman.
1-2 Buffy's coming for you. That one's fucking scary. I agree.
All right.
All right, number 3. A young girl had a terrible dream. She was riding a beautiful horse through the woods, but was told by the trail guide not to move. If she moved or even breathed, the big black panther stalking them right now would eat them. She froze in terror, but realized quickly it was a dream. She opened her eyes in relief. However, when she looked near her side, a big black shape was there. Thinking it was a hallucination due to waking from a dream, she stared at it, waiting for the shape to go away. After all, even if it looked like a man-eating panther, it could only be her blanket. But that's when she realized her blanket had oddly defined cat-like ears. She felt something inside her say, "Don't move." She tried not to breathe, but couldn't help as a small, ragged breath slipped out. The cat-like ears twitched.
Aww.
And that's the end of that. Interesting. All right. Finishes out like this. Well, I hope you enjoyed my stories. LOL, they are fun to write, and I've wanted to share for a while, even if I don't have a ton of spooky things to share. I love your guys' podcast and can't believe I found a scary story podcast that told interesting, scary stories in a humorous way. Thank you. It was just what I was looking for, and I've been binging it hardcore.
You're not hardcore unless you live hardcore.
If you couldn't figure it out yet, though you probably have, the second story is false. Hell yeah! Nailed it. All right. But as for the ending to the last one, it ends quite humorously. It turns out my black cat was sleeping beside my face, which he doesn't usually do. He is usually with my parents or on my legs if he does sleep with me.
That reminds me of Yui the other night sleeping.
She's so annoying.
I don't know
she
why.
Would not try, she just kept trying to sleep on our pillows.
Yeah, she wanted to sleep at the
with
top
our heads
of the
there
bed.
Already.
Yeah, but she ended up sleeping like in between us for a majority of the night.
And
and that is out of the ordinary.
I think what wound up happening is she saw us take suitcases and leave. And that usually means we're not coming back for like days. And we were going to a con that's local.
Yeah.
So we came back like 7-8 hours later, and she was so happy. And we had guests in the house that were staying in the guest room. So rather than being super alone, I think she was just so happy that we were back. She's like, cuddle me until like 4 a.m.
But I can totally understand like your cat not normally doing that and just wanting to sleep with you.
Maybe she always sleeps there. You just don't wake up. All right, I'm going to finish this out. He usually is with my parents or on my legs if he does sleep with me. He jumped off my bed with a cute murr. And I nearly burst out laughing in the middle of the night. I'd have said so earlier, but that would have ruined the surprise. Smiley face. I hope you enjoyed these anyway, and I wish you the best of luck. You guys deserve it, and thanks again for making my days great. Sincerely, Paige.
Thank you so much, Paige, for sharing that with us. I think cats are the pajamas.
Cats are the pajamas. That old saying.
Well, I could say cats are the cat's pajamas. Like, cats are in the pajamas.
Bananas in pajamas. Do y'all remember that?
Yep.
Are you old enough to remember that?
Yeah, they come down the stairs. I just think it's hilarious that your cat is just scares you in the middle of the night for being so cute.
I really enjoyed the format of your email, too. It's like, here's 2 things that have happened. Not crazy scary, but creepy enough. Here's one that I made up. And I'm happy that we were able to figure out which one it was. And hopefully the listeners did as well. If you did, give yourself 5 cool points. Congratulations.
5 cool points.
All right. So before we move into our next story, we are going to take a really quick commercial break. And we're back.
All right, everyone. Welcome to the other half of the episode where I read my story first again and Adam reads his story second.
It's true.
All right. It goes. The story begins. Hello, Robin, Adam, and Spooky Mom. Hello. And Spooky Mom yells down or up from downstairs. Hello.
Oh, I was wondering what voice you were going to give her. I guess we'll let that be canon for this week.
Okay. It's Riz from Texas again. I'm still trying to catch up on all the episodes, but am finally halfway through 2020. Booyah. I'm going to add the booyah. I love hearing other people's...
I'm glad that booyah was such a booyah. I've never heard anyone have a less emphatic booyah
Fuck
ever.
You.
Booyah.
I love hearing other people's homegrown horrors, and they often remind me of stuff I've gone through that I completely forgot about. This is a long one, so not sorry.
Shrug emoji.
I think I explained it in my first email I sent, but just in case, let me refresh y'all. I work very early in the morning, usually clocking in around 4:45 a.m. at my job where I make smoothies. To have the door open and store set up at 5 a.m. People want smoothies at 5 a.m.?
Probably people who work out super early. When they finish their early workout, they're like, I'm going to go get a smoothie for breakfast.
We are the only business open this early on this strip center. There's a gym, at the other end of the parking lot, close enough to make me feel better that other people are around and I'm not completely alone. But far enough away that they probably don't notice little old me in the shop.
Aww.
One morning, I opened up and had a good flow of customers right away. I was busy making smoothies and had a few customers in the store when suddenly I heard 3 loud knocks on the wall. We share walls with another business that doesn't open until much later in the morning, so nobody should have been next door.
Someone's getting murdered.
Or sexy times.
Only 3? Knock, knock, knock. I'm done.
I froze in shock and... No, that's sad. Okay, I froze in shock and confusion and a little bit of fear, but I wasn't sure what to make of this banging at first. So I continued on finishing up their orders. Then I heard it again, 3 loud knocks, even louder this time. I knew for sure this time it actually happened and really felt fear when I noticed the customers who had been mid-conversation stopped talking and were also looking at the wall. One of them looked at me reassuring me that this noise was very real.
I'm going with murder. I think something bad is happening in the next...
Or construction.
And they do 3 bangs an hour. Just
yeah.
bing, bing,
that's how
bing.
you put a nail in. Bang, bang, bang.
And then
bang,
you wait
bang,
an
bang.
hour and do... Okay, I'm saying an hour. Obviously, it wasn't an hour. But still, just seems weird. I'll let you keep going.
At the time, I had been listening to my first podcast I started following, Crime Junkie. I really liked the host because they always strongly encouraged listeners to be weird, be rude, stay alive. In short, that means fuck politeness, as those at MFM would say. Fuck.
Did they say that or did you just add that in?
I say that. That MFM says that.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
And say something if something isn't right. I also have a very creative and horrifying imagination, so my first thought when I heard these knocks was it must be somebody trapped inside next door begging for help. What if? Or what if they're being held hostage by an attacker? That would be nuts, right? If someone was locked up next door and were like, I'm going to get murdered, and all they can do is like bang
Knock on the wall
door
3 times.
or the wall. I know that sounds crazy, but I couldn't shake that image out of my head. These knocks continued, always in 3s, and seemed to be getting loud each time. I had a steady flow of customers for a while, so I was comforted by the presence of other people for a bit of time. But eventually, the early morning rush died down, and I was alone in the store with these loud knocks happening a few minutes apart. I'm telling you, it's construction. I was so freaked out, I was slightly shaking and jumped every time they came. After being an avid Crime Junkie listener, I knew I couldn't just brush it off and decided to report it to the non-emergency hotline. A police officer did come by, but I'm not sure what he did or if he even went inside to check. Eventually, the knocking started getting quieter after a few hours, then completely stopped. I tend to give myself bad anxiety, and when I do feel all the side effects, tightening of the chest, shallow breathing, feeling hot, etc., so it didn't surprise me that I felt hot after all that. I ended up turning the AC down to cool off, but I noticed the temp in the store was actually going up. Turns out our AC unit is in the store's attic, which I didn't know existed, and the unit broke that morning. The knocking was coming from the unit attempting over and over to kick on. I felt a little ridiculous after all, but I'm just glad nobody was in danger. It's funny because we just went to Walmart the other day, last weekend, and the air conditioner for our Walmart is on the ceiling. It's on the roof of our Walmart.
Like if you see the top of a Walmart, it's covered in air conditioning units out here.
It is a horrifying sound. At our Walmart, it is absolutely just brutally noisy to the point where it's like ringing in your ears. It's
I don't know.
so
I don't know if
loud.
it was that bad. To me, it was just like
When I've been to that Walmart and that happened before, it was so loud. It hurt to listen to. My Momo, or my mother, has a lot of experiences with ghosts and spirits. Her childhood home was very small and old. After her great aunt passed, she haunted their house. She used to wear slippers and walk slowly, dragging her feet. They used to hear this in the middle of the night in the hallway after she passed. It's both heartwarming and scary.
It's like comforting, but also terrifying.
Yes. One day, my Momo walked into their kitchen and the dishes were being washed by no one. The rocking lounge chair in the living room used to rock on its own and was loud and creaky.
Man, I wish our dishes would be washed by no one.
I want some like Merlin powers, from Sword in the Stone. I just want to be able to do a spell and have all my dishes be clean. She's always told me if you ever see or hear anything, just calmly say, "You're scaring me, please leave." If it's a friendly ghost or spirit, it will leave. It's worked many times for her. I've been there a few times when doorknobs will wiggle or lights will flicker, and she would just ask them to leave and it would immediately stop. She went through a period of time where she would see a cloudy mist in the same spot in between our kitchen and dining room of their current house. She had already told me about it, and one day when I stopped by, she said it was back. I walked in the same area she always sees it, and it was there. You couldn't see it if you looked directly at it, only in your peripherals. It gave me a sense of calm and warmth. That must be her grandma, right? I think it's her guardian angel, or that too. That's cool. We are religious, and she often prays to her guardian angel to watch over her. I'm sure she has a lot more stories of her childhood haunted home that I need to get from her. Probably, this past weekend, my parents were talking about all these crazy things that they've experienced, and I was just like, I need to hear all this for my show. And my dad's like, one day, just come over and we'll record it. But
what voice was that? I need to hear all this for my show.
I'm from Texas. I don't know what you want from me. But no, my dad was like, just record us and we'll record all the stories and stuff like that. I'm like, but you guys speak in Vietnamese, it doesn't translate well. But yeah, so continuing on. I listened to the podcast mostly while I'm working in the back of the store. On one of the episodes, y'all were talking about DARE. That is Drug Awareness Resistance Education, for those that are new to DARE.
And nowadays, DARE does a bunch of suicide awareness and prevention.
That's great.
We knew that together because we went to Chipotle and there was a DARE guy outside.
Yes.
He was asking for a donation, and
it was a girl, actually.
he let us know. It was a guy. He let us know that that's what their primary focus was for the fundraiser that they were doing at that time. So it was very interesting to hear that.
Yeah, I'm really glad they're doing that because in this generation, I feel like it's very important that they actually invest in bringing attention to that, because the amount of suicides that happens in schools these days is nuts.
It's very high.
It's
probably better served than making people sign contracts that state that they won't drink alcohol or smoke weed or smoke cigarettes. It's basically you're making them sign a contract that they are going to do all those things.
The police officer that came to my middle school and was telling us about...
was super high.
No, he got fucking lung cancer.
Oh, no.
He got lung cancer from everyone at the station smoking.
Oh, wow.
Because he told all the kids he never smoked. But from the secondhand smoke of all the cops at the station that smoked, he got freaking lung cancer.
I mean, have you ever seen the old pictures? I mean, I grew up, so I remember it, of the places that had smoking allowed, with all the smoke that was just hanging on the ceiling.
Well, I mean, I used to go to casinos before that law was introduced, where you could just smoke everywhere.
Casinos are high ceilinged. I'm talking about an 8 to 10 foot ceiling, chain smoker habited building where you just walk in, and when you walk out, you're going to stink like you smell cigarettes, and your mouth's going to taste like an ashtray.
I'm thankful I've never had to experience that. But the casinos out here used to just be riddled with cigarette
smoke. There was
so
much pushback when they started enacting secondhand smoking laws. Mm-hmm. And I still remember adults and kids that were 18 and 19 talking about how it's scientifically proven that the cigarette smoke that comes off the end of the cigarette isn't bad for you. And it's it's the same smoke that goes in, but it gets filtered through the filter on your cigarette when you inhale it.
Have you guys ever seen the end of a cigarette after it's smoked? That shit,
the end
filter.
Of oh yeah,
it is disgustingly yellow and full of chemicals.
We're really off on a side tangent now, but I remember one of the DARE things they did that actually had an impact on me was they had these.
Did they show you the lungs?
They had plastic lungs that were made of sponges, and they put a cigarette into this tube, and they lit it, and then they just pumped the lungs, so it was smoking it. And our teacher got super pissed because it was indoors. So she's like, "You're gonna make my entire room smell like smoke." And so they opened a window and they're doing it. And then all the kids on the playground at the time thought that someone was smoking.
Oh my God.
But when they were done, the lungs were they started out as just white sponges, and they were completely yellow. It was so fucking gross. I was like, that is nasty as shit. Is it worth it to look like you're a dragon? Maybe. But still, I'm glad someone finally showed this to me.
Wow, neat. Okay, so continuing on with the story, we had that same BS program in grade school, and I was thinking to myself, I wonder if they still do that. As I was leaving work that same day, there was a big DARE truck parked near my car.
They heard you.
I took a picture of it to share with y'all because this truck looks ridiculous. I would still rep a DARE shirt. If someone gave me a DARE shirt, I would wear the fuck out of it. Just saying. Because growing up, now that we're older, we're probably that's bullshit. But growing up, I was smoking is dumb. I hate smoking. Drugs are stupid. And I didn't drink. I don't know about you. I do know about
when
you.
I signed that contract in 5th grade, I
never signed a contract, though.
I was like, I am going to have to try these things for myself because these people seem like they're full of shit, aside from that smoking demonstration. So.
I would wear some DARE merch. Send me some DARE merch, anybody who works with DARE. Okay. It was weird, but I guess they do still have that program. Anyways, I added a picture of my furry omen babies and a pic of my not-so-furry baby, too, because I love him.
They're
Thanks
all
for
absolutely
listening. Keep
adorable.
on creeping on.
Robin was having a bad day today, so when I picked this email to be read, I didn't read it. I just saw that it said, please share on the pod, and then it had pictures. So sometimes I'll open the pictures to get a preview, whatever the story's going to be about. And I got to see child doggos and dare truck, and I was like, this is gonna get fucking weird. But Robin was having a bad day, so I sent her the pictures of the
and
doggos
they're all
the
such
kid.
happy, smiling dogs.
And the
They're
dogs
so
are just
cute.
cheesing at the camera. It's so good.
So thank you so much, Riss, for sending that to us. Do you remember the dog, the crime dog? What is his name? Duff? McGruff? Is that
Duff,
his name?
the crime dog? Duff is the beer from The Simpsons.
Holy shit.
His name was McGruff, I'm pretty sure.
And that dog had the best fashion sense ever. Like, that coat, mwah,
Wow.
like chef's kiss.
I don't remember the coat of McGruff, the crime dog.
It was just this dog, right? Like a bloodhound looking dog.
I remember, yeah.
And he had like a detective's coat on and stuff. Oh man.
I'll have to Google an image of it to confirm that.
Really?
But,
I
yeah.
love all those, like McGruff, the fire bear.
I love Spuds McKenzie.
What's his name?
The fire bear? Chimchar? I don't fucking know.
He's a fucking monkey.
I love Spuds McKenzie, which was a dog that taught kids how to drink alcohol.
No.
I remember Camel Joe, who encouraged me to smoke
Oh,
cigarettes.
no.
I remember all the animal. This is another thing that happened in my lifetime. They banned all animal
Smokey
mascots.
the bear. That's what I
Ow.
was thinking about.
They banned all the animal mascots, all the animal
Fashion.
mascots, because they appealed to kids for things that kids weren't allowed to do. I was like, that's pretty smart. And I used to have this cup that I won from like a claw machine that was a Spuds McKenzie, and it slowly faded over time. But we're like, that's a collector's item because that's discontinued now.
Nice.
But all right, anyways, thank you so much, Marissa,
Yeah.
for sending in that story. We sincerely appreciate it. All right, I'm gonna get into the last homegrown horror of the show. This one's subject is, please feel free to share on the pod. Just a short one. Says, hello, Adam and Robin.
Hello.
Hello. Good evening to you from England.
England.
My name is Lauren, and I've been listening since the beginning.
Oh, snap.
And I have finally gotten around to emailing in. Lauren, I don't want to call you out, but that's 4 fucking years, dog. I'm happy you did finally send us an email, though.
And all the way from across the pond. Nice.
Indeed. I bet you it took a long time to get here. It probably had to come by boat.
Shut the fuck.
I hope you are both well. I don't have many scary-ish stories to share. I really just enjoy listening to you guys and other listeners' experience, so I wasn't sure whether or not to email in, but I thought, well, why not,
We're not here to judge. We're just supposed to appreciate everything that you do to support us and appreciate your experiences, because we're not here to be like, oh man, this is bullshit. No, we're here to love you.
Yeah, we're here to love you. All right, I'm going to continue on. The only, in parentheses, very short, unexplained experience that I have had happened when I was 18, working in a bookshop in the local village. It was a very small shop, only 3 aisles wide, and you could see the back of the shop from the front entrance.
I love all the vocabulary used in this email so far.
I was working on this particular day with one other colleague. We were due to close the shop at 5 p.m. It was around 4:50 p.m. At 4:50, when you're T-minus 10 minutes from the place closing, some fucking asshole always comes in.
Just lock the door already.
By this time, the town was relatively empty, as most of the shops would close by 5 p.m. But occasionally we would have that one person who wanted to come in and browse 5 minutes before closing.
Hashtag retail life.
We were both standing at the front end of the shop. I was facing the back of the shop with my back to the front door, my colleague standing in front of me facing the front entrance. As I was standing talking to my colleague, I felt someone tap me on the shoulder, so I immediately turned around and asked how I could help, assuming it was a customer. When I turned around, there was nobody there.
So the colleague was probably like, "Are you what?"
My
Are you
colleague
okay?
looked at me confused. I explained I felt someone tap me. There is no one there. No one has come in, she replied. We both laughed it off and locked up the shop. The next day I mentioned what had happened to the shop manager, which is when she told me that before the shop was there, a young boy died on the grounds.
No.
I have not been able to verify that information, but needless to say, I was pretty creeped out for the rest of my time working there.
Wouldn't you want to tell your employees before they start,
No,
like...
you do not let an employee know of your ghost stories before you get started unless they
you
ask.
just say, like, hey, just so you know, there's, like, a ghost of little Timmy. He's around here somewhere. If something weird happens, don't freak out.
It's a worker shortage right now. You're never going to hire anyone. Actually, that's not true. All the people that listen to our show will be like, fuck yes, I want that job. So, okay, I'm going to keep going. On a second note, I have a topic suggestion for you of something I think would be interesting to research and I would love to know more about. I am from a small village in Sussex in the southeast of England. There's a local town with a large wooded area called Clapham Wood, not to be confused with Clapham North NR London. What's NR?
Ner.
Not to be confused with Clapham Ner London. This area is known for tales of witchcraft and devil worship, as well as paranormal and UFO sightings.
Okay.
These woods are supposedly haunted, and there are many accounts online from locals and visitors. I would love to hear this as a topic on your podcast one day.
Aw, cool.
I will add it to the list, and hopefully I will be able to find enough to turn into a topic. And if not, then we're just going to have to visit. Thanks for all the work you put into your podcast. It really is marvelous. All the best, Lauren. Thank you. That's very nice of you to say. Sometimes I'm not sure. It kind of feels like a piece of shit. And other times I'm very proud of what we do. So I appreciate seeing stuff like that because it helps me drive down the demons.
Some of the things that come out of my mouth sometimes, I'm like, I can't believe we do this for a freaking...
You're going to say for a living.
We don't do it for a living. But it's just something that I can't believe it's gotten so big. Big for us, you know? Maybe it's not a crazy huge, million views on YouTube podcast, but there are people out there, you guys out there, that are hanging out with us on a Wednesday night, listening to each other's stories and just chilling and banhammering people and just having fun. And we're really thankful for everybody. And so the fact that someone, Lauren, all the way from England, you're just like, hey guys, what's up? What is up?
We're adding those woods to our topic list. Yeah. So thank you for the suggestion. Thank you for the email. We really appreciate it. So I want to thank everyone who was nice enough to send in their stories for this wonderful episode of Storytime. I believe it was the 174th Storytime we've done.
Wow.
It's a lot of story times.
That's a lot of stories. Because four stories an episode, that's a lot of stories.
It's 4 stories an episode now. I think for the first 100, we did 6 stories an episode. And for the first 80 topic episodes, we would do 2 stories per topic episode. So we are well over 1,000 stories sent in from our listeners. And it's always amazing.
You guys are amazing. And we're so thankful. You guys are so great.
Yeah, it's amazing that you share these stories with us and you trust us to read these, bring them to the audience and let them know, hey, this person wanted to share this. We're not here to judge. We are just here to pass the story along and let you folks hear it. We're just here to love you. We are just the medium. It's like we're being possessed. It's like we're at a Ouija board somewhere and all your stories are the things that we say where we're like shaking and convulsing.
Imagine. What the fuck? Now that's all I'm imagining is you just being like, this story comes from...
Wow. Good stuff. But yeah, thank you so much. We really appreciate it. If you have a story that you would like to send us, you can email storytime@scarish.com or go to our website, scarish.com. Click on Contact Us, fill out that form on that page, and those come directly to us, or hit us up on any of our social medias. Facebook is facebook.com/scarishpodcast. Twitter is @scarishpod, and Instagram is @scarishpodcast. Robin, for folks who'd like to donate to us, how can they do so?
You can go to patreon.com/scarishpodcast, and those are monthly donations. Tiers start at $1, and at $1 you get ad-free, which is cool, and as Adam likes to say, ad-free
is the way to be.
Mm-hmm. And if you're not into the monthly tier type thing, you can go to coffee, ko-fi.com/scarishpodcast, and those are one-time donations. I also would like to say that right now there is a promotional code for my Etsy shop on our Patreon for patrons.
That's where a bunch of our merch is.
Yes. So if you folks would like a discount on some merch, you can go on over to Patreon, join for $1 even if you want, or some more if you want as well, and get that ad-free, get that discount code on some merch. It's a win-win situation.
What is the discount? Is it 10%?
I think it's 15%.
So let's just put it this way. If it was just 10%, which is more, and you're buying anything for $10 or more, it pays itself off. But realistically, it's 15%. Mm-hmm. So it makes financial sense if you're looking to pick up some spooky merch to go ahead and just sign up for Patreon. I mean, why not? And ad-free is the way to be, let's be real. But I think that's just about everything we have for this wonderful Storytime episode number 174. Robin, why don't you go ahead and sign us out? Or not.
Keep on creeping on, and we'll talk to you guys later.
Bye.